Welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. And let's start off this episode with a question. How do you break out of a slump? What happens when you just are not inspired, when you're just going through the motions? And look, with a pandemic all around us and not a lot of vacations, right? Not a lot, definitely not a lot of bucket list things going on. It's really important that every advisor develops strategies now that will help them stay in a positive frame, being able to move forward, accomplish their goals, and such. But let's talk about slumps, right? Now, when I say slumps, we're not talking about being clinically depressed or anything like that. That's for the professionals. What we're talking about is you're just not feeling it, right? You're not executing the things that you want to execute. You have this conversation with yourself that says, "Oh, I'll do it tomorrow." Or I'll do it later, or it really doesn't matter when I do it because it can't go anywhere anyway, right? Whatever it happens to be. So let's talk about where slumps originate from. So if you think about it, when you're doing really well, right, when you're crushing it, you're rocking and rolling, doing everything necessary, that's a pattern. And what is that pattern? A pattern is made up of three components. Number one, your physiology. Number two, your focus. I'm thinking of like a pyramid, a triangle. So the base is going to be your physiology. One side is going to be your focus. The next side is going to be what we'll call your language or your internal dialogue. Okay. So when you're doing really well, what's your physiology? Chances are you feel good. You're exercising, you're eating right, you're getting proper sleep, you're going to bed early, getting up early, and you just feel it, right? You feel good. What's our focus? Our focus is on our goals. Our focus is playing our game. Our focus is what I call internal, which is the things around us that we have direct control over, right? Your vision, your plan, your clients. What's our dialogue? Languaging. You talk to yourself. Let's get it done now. I've got to take action. I want to get this done today. I must, right? There's a language pattern. So there's physiology, right? Your body, your focus, and your language. When you're rocking and rolling, all three of those are in a certain alignment, a certain recipe, a certain syntax, if you will, to that. Now, what causes a slump? There's a breakdown of one of these three, two of these three, or all of these three. And for different people, it's going to be different things, right? So for some of you, it may be you get into the conversation where you don't want to get up early anymore and do a morning ritual, or you stop working out, or you're eating comfort food, or you're drinking too much alcohol, or whatever it is. But the bottom line is now physically you don't feel it. Don't feel it, right? I don't feel like working out today, right? That is where you'll go ahead and actually collapse your standards. And that's not a positive. So our physiology, that may be the first thing that goes. The potential second thing that goes is our focus. Instead of focusing on us, what we start doing, we start digesting the news. We start digesting all the craziness on Facebook and social media. We get caught up in a vortex of BS. And then our focus is no longer on our clients, our business, our game, things that we can control. You're focused on everything you cannot control. And what does that do? It puts you in a frustrated state. Third, what does our language pattern look like? I'm going to try to get up early tomorrow. I should follow up with this person. All of a sudden, our internal dialogue goes from being committed to now of options. I really should try to. Should try to is if you want a statement that will absolutely guarantee you mediocrity, should try to will absolutely get you nowhere in life. Definitely not in this business. So our language pattern shifts, right? So if you find yourself in a situation where my physiology sucks, my focus sucks, and my language pattern sucks, or my internal dialogue sucks, how do you break it? Well, It's going to be different for different people because we're all individuals. But the first thing you got to do is say, which one of these is in your mind the easiest? And there's not a right answer, by the way. I would say, and think about this, I would always suggest the base, the physiology. Because haven't you ever done this where, you just don't feel, I don't feel good, whatever, right? But you got to work out. Maybe you have a personal trainer. Hopefully you do, so you have accountability. But you don't feel like working out. But you kind of make yourself go. And I had this experience actually less than a week ago. It was a Friday, and I had not slept well the night before. We have lots of animals and lots of people. Our house is just a very hectic house. And so the dogs start barking 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You're up, right? And I just my then also my brain turns on, and now I'm in this kind of 4 a.m. Q&A mode, right? And then I'm normally up at 5:30, 5:45. So I may have gotten half of the required sleep that I normally like to get. So, but I can always will because I can do this, right? I can will myself to be able to move forward. And I have a great Friday. But now it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, right? I took care of my Magellan Network stuff, rock and rolled some individual calls, and I was like, I gotta go hit the gym because Friday afternoon I do happy hour, and not work. And I used to do another type of happy hour, hanging out with my buddies down at the local corner place, right? We don't do that anymore, so we do a rockstar workout on Friday to end the week. I didn't feel like doing it. In fact, quite frankly, I actually took about a 15-minute nap, not because I wanted to. I just sat down and just next thing I know, my eyes closed. And I was really having this conversation with myself. Man, do I go to the gym? I don't feel like it. What's the worst case scenario? So what's happening? The language pattern, right, is breaking down. I can make it up tomorrow. The language pattern is breaking down. I didn't feel that well physically. I was exhausted, right? My focus was kind of get some sleep. But I need to relax. And but what's interesting about 2:30, um, I reminded myself that I'm a leader and I made certain commitments. So I literally jump in my car, drag my ass. I get to the gym, and I'm like, okay, what do I feel like doing today? My brain goes, nothing. Right? There's the language pattern again, and I said, well, we're here, so let's do something. Right? So I said, I'll get on the rower because I like to row. I've got a rower here, Concept Two in my home. They've got several to place. I'll row for about 5, 10 minutes, just kind of see what happens. And I start rowing. And when I go, it's a personal training gym. It's like 2:30 in the afternoon on a Friday. Guess what? I own the whole place. It's mine. There's nobody there except for like some staff and some trainers. And they got some music blasting, and I'm like, okay, so I'm getting into it now a little bit. Okay, I feel energized. And then I say, okay, so my 10-minute row turned into a 45-minute row. Then I say, okay, what else am I gonna do? I get a 75-pound weighted vest. I get on a treadmill, put the incline up to like 5 degrees, and about 3 miles an hour, and I march basically for 45 minutes. And then I went back and did the rower again, alternating 500 meters with sets of 25 rep dumbbell presses. Not that all matters to you, but it's in my head, right? So this is a good 2.5 hour, almost 2 hour, 45-minute workout. And I felt great. It was like I crushed it, absolutely crushed it. What changed? I got my body moving. When I look back today at what was the differential, I got my body moving, my physiology, which then changed my focus, like what's next, which then changed my language patterns. What are we going to do next? Hey, let's put that, you know what? Let's really torture ourselves today, put a 75-pound vest on, and let's go for a little hike on the treadmill, right? And let's just do that, right? And then let's go back and do some other stuff. But it started with my body. So here's strategy number one. Whenever you're in a slump, the fastest way to get out of a slump, move your ass. I don't care if you take a walk, get on a treadmill, do a couple flights of stairs. And by the way, this doesn't have to be like long durations. Let me be. This is about changing a state, changing a pattern, right? So I'm not asking you to go run a marathon, but let's just say it's 9 o'clock in the morning, whatever time of day, quite frankly, and just not feeling it. Like, oh man, I just don't. I should make those calls. I should send out those emails. There's that S word again, right? Well, I'm not going to sit there and tell you to fight yourself sitting down. I'm going to tell you to, hey, stop doing what you're doing because you're not doing anything anyway productive. Go take a walk. Go change your body, right? And if you're so inclined, yeah, go get a workout in. Just go do it, right? That's why it's I find it fascinating in my career. I'll have advisors tell me, Joe, I just don't have time to go to the gym. I've got to get to the office early. I've got to be here by 7:30. Get out of here to 5:30, 6 o'clock. Lunch I can't do at midday. And then I sit there and say, well, tell me what you do all day. I want you to track it. And you're in the office for 10 hours. You work 3. The rest is just all BS, right? So you could be a triathlete with that much time, right? So it's a total lie. So if you're telling yourself the story that you have no time to take care of yourself, it's a lie. Stop lying to yourself. The base is always the body. Never forget that. So we're going to change our physiology, right? We're going to move, right? What else do you do to break a slump? Focus. So how do we change focus? Get your business plan out. Get your goals out. If you're part of our tribe in Magellan Network, you know that we have these quarterly game plans. Read yours, reassociate. Do your morning ritual, have a daily game plan, like change focus, shut the news off. Get off of Facebook for a couple days. It'll be there it'll be there. Don't worry, it's not going to disappear. Change it. You do that. Okay? So physiology, move ass, right? Move ass, reframe your focus. Third piece, language. Catch yourself and make declarations. Write it down. Like seriously, get a pen, get a notebook out, a journal out, whatever. And for some of you who are still like, you kind of grew up typing with thumbs, if you're that young, write it. Actually, with one of these, which I know it's a pen. Shocking, right? They still make these. Why? Because there's something about writing down something tangible to yourself. So instead of I should try, I will make my 10 contacts today. I'm going to handle these 4 or 5 things. Like I want you to not just think about it from a language perspective, I actually want you to write it out. Now that becomes real to you. And that's what we want. That's how you bust a slump and bust a pattern. First, you have to understand how it happens. And oh, by the way, it's not like you wake up one morning and go, you know what? I'm being too successful. It's time to really sabotage. Let's get into a funk. Let's go ahead and procrastinate, right? Let's get into a slump. It's not a conscious thought. You end up it's like if some of you it's the story about the frog in a pot of water, right? You try to throw a frog in a boiling pot of water, frog, no way, right? But if you put the frog in it and you let it simmer, unfortunately for the frog, it's cooked, right? It's so nuanced over time that you really don't realize you're there until one day you wake up, you're there. It's almost like diet and nutrition. One day turns into 2 days of bad eating, turns into 3, turns into 4. It's no big deal, no big deal, no big deal. Then one day you feel like you're bloated. You jump on a scale and you're like, oh my gosh, what happened? Right? You have that moment, but it really was a series of small patterns. We as human beings are creatures of patterns. That's why this industry and this profession is so fascinating to me, because it is the ultimate laboratory. This is the ultimate personal development business. If you want to change your outcomes, keyword want, not try to, hope to, want to change your outcomes, you must change your state, you must change your patterns. And I always want you to think about the triad: body language, focus, language, conversation, internal dialogue, right? I want you to do a check in right now and ask yourself the question: how is my physiology? How's my body? How's my energy? How's my health? Number one. Number two, what have I been focused on? What's my inputs? What do you read, watch, listen to? Who do you associate with? All right, 4 things. Next, what's my conversations like in the morning? Oh my God, I gotta get up and go to work today. Well, of course you're screwed, right? What's the habitual conversation? What's the Q&A machine doing here in your mind? Take inventory. Now, if these 3 patterns are not where you want them to be, I just gave you the recipe. Pick one. My recommendation is Change your body. Change your cycle because, like I said, we've all done this where we don't feel good. We're in a bad state. We go for a walk. We go for a run. We go get a workout. We feel better, right? There's a clue in there. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. The beauty of this game right here, and then we're going to get out of here, is you control this. Nobody needs to give you permission except for you. The real strategy here is not that you'll go into slumps, but how short and shallow can we make them? So last thing I'm going to end with this. If you've had periods in your career where you're crushing it, and then you have periods in your career where it's just, nothing works. Like you've got this, it's almost like the VIX, right? The volatility. We've got these wide variations. That's real stressful. For a lot of you, it's not about being excellent. It's how do I eliminate the downsides? If I can have a strategy to eliminate my slumps, my inconsistencies, that's a game changer for you right there. So maybe instead of trying to be excellent all the time, maybe we need to learn and focus on how not to be crappy any of the time. And by that definition, your game changes. Hey, if any of this made sense to you, I invite you to come and spend some time with us inside the Magellan Network. And don't forget, you want to create a strategic plan for 2021. It's going to be it's the planning process I'm putting together for my clients. Will be our 19th year, by the way. By far, this will be the most unique one. I thought the one I did in December of 2008 was the most important one I've ever done in my career. The one I'm going to do in December, and I want you to be there as part of my tribe, is going to be the most important one I've done in my entire 25-year career. So make sure FABizPlan, FABIZPLAN.com. Come check it out. Love to see you for a couple days in December, putting together your plan, not just for 2021, but for the next 5 years. Thank you for watching and listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Until then, let's go fix our patterns. So there you have it. If you really enjoyed watching this episode, go ahead and subscribe to the Magellan Network Show with Coach Joe here on YouTube. And remember, I'm always here to help you become a better entrepreneur, business owner, and financial advisor. With that, I'll see you next time on the Magellan Network Show with me, Coach Joe. Take care and goodbye.